To the show, everyone. I'm excited about networking with everyone out there today. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. And I'm going to go right in with my first guest, who's been on with me now several times. I have with me Tim Orschelin, and he is the CEO of HomeLyfe. We just heard your ad, and the website is WeSaveRoofs.com. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about what that really means, because you got to listen up, everyone who owns a home or a business, right? That you really need to hear about how he can save your roof. By how many years?
10 to 15.
10 to 15 years. Listen up, everyone. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Carol. Absolutely love being here with you. Yes, that's what we do. So we save roofs. I got in the business, because I got sick and tired of just basically companies out there that were just ramrodding, me included, customers that were, didn't know what they didn't know. I guess that's the way to put it, right? So when it comes to the roof and roofs in general, people are uneducated about how they go on, what they do, what their purpose is, what a good roof system looks like, what a bad roof system look like. The maintenance programs that should be performed regularly on a roof system, that just don't seem to happen. And I think it's because we live in Arizona where, we get the monsoon seasons, but it rains 60 days out of the year here.
If we're lucky enough.
Yeah, if we're lucky enough and we've got 300 days of sunshine and we're here enjoying that, that's why we live here, right? Because of the sunshine. So one of the things that I did is I said I wanted to start a company that even though we focus on saving roofs, we focus more on the customer than anything else. And we need to really talk with the customer, find out what their needs are, and how we can help them the most with what they have.
Well, the one thing that you wanted to get out was your mission statement. So I want you to talk a little bit about what that is. And I'm going to say that over and over and over today, because it's really what you're all about. It isn't necessarily just, yes, you save roofs, but it's about the customer, each one individually. You care about them very much so, and you have a lot of different things that you offer for them, because it's all about saving them money, not about how much more can you get out of them, how much can you help them save money.
Correct. So our mission is we want to be the most trusted equity maintenance company in the state of Arizona. And what does that mean? I'll come out and say it. Nobody trusts roofers anymore, right? Nobody trusts
anyone anymore.
I had 3 HVAC companies come out last year to maintenance my air conditioning. Every one of them said that I needed a new air conditioner, and my quotes were anywhere from $15,000 all the way up to $28,000 for an air conditioning unit.
Wow.
Which I thought was absolutely ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely ludicrous, and it took me several months and doing a lot of talking to friends, family, my attorneys, everybody that would listen. Who do you use? Why do you use them? Right? And I came across a company that I absolutely fell in love with, that we work with every day. They're one of our HomeLyfe partners. They're vetted by us, and that's what the HomeLyfe Partner Program means. But they put my air conditioning on there for a very, very reasonable price, and the job they did was phenomenal. They charge half of. They basically have the same mission statement that we do, right? They want to help the customer. So we're not out there coming out there to upsell you on everything we can possibly do and rob your checkbook, rob your bank account, and they'll never be heard from again. Your home is where all your cherished memories are made, and that's where I make mine. I mean, I just showed you a picture of my first grandbaby, right?
Yeah.
So even just taking care of my own lawn. I mean, we can do a lot of stuff for a lot of people and help them out.
And you don't just, it's not a one and done kind of thing at all. As a matter of fact, you come, because let me talk to you about maintenance. Maintenance, and nobody does it, especially when it comes to your roof, because, like you said, out of sight, out of mind.
Correct. It's very simple, right? You go get your teeth cleaned twice a year, you get your car, you go change the oil in there, you get your tires rotated. That's all maintenance, because that's stuff you use every day. Well, you know what? You lay your head down at night and you sleep peacefully underneath your own roof, right? It's not.
But what's going on up there?
Yeah, and again, everybody's out of sight, out of mind. we became, myself plus every member of my my field operations unit, I have put everybody through the NRCIA, which is the National Roofing Certification and Inspection Association, because I want all my people to not only learn and see exactly what we're looking for and how we can fix it properly, right? But I also want them to also take that oath. And there's an oath at the end of that. Being a roof inspector and getting that certificate, you're taking an oath to give an unbiased professional opinion on actually the condition of that roof that you're working on.
Well, you see, this is what I love about my show, because how many people ever knew that if a roofer hasn't taken that oath, that's not someone that you want doing your going up there and checking that out for you.
Everybody throws around free inspection,
Yeah.
But are you really getting an inspection?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's getting the free part, that's fun, but are you really getting something that that's tried and true?
Well, today I want to talk to you about some different things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the first one that I want to talk about, I'm going right straight to it, okay?
Okay.
Well, one I like the best, pest infestation. I mean, oh my God. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things what that represents, what that means, and maybe you have a gory story about that.
Well, I won't get too much into the gore because I think it's self-explanatory, but
what's the worst thing you've ever seen?
Well, we work with property managers all over town, because obviously when it comes to the capital expense or landlords, HOAs, the roof is the biggest, right? And most people they defer that expense. We work with a property manager out in the West Valley, out in the Goodyear area. They have a property management company with 100 homes under management. So we went out there several weeks ago to inspect a tile roof, and of course it's the same old thing. Hey, we just need a little inspection. I've got a couple cracked tiles up on top. Well, when we got up there, what we found it's usually way more than one cracked tile. So we found probably about 20 cracked tiles up there, and somehow they had a major pigeon infestation.
Nice.
And these little boogers, I'm telling you right now, they were able to not only use the tile to make nests. I mean, they literally, the small pieces of rock that had busted off, they were actually able to move some of these tiles out of the way and got inside the home.
Wow.
So they were up in the attic, and I will be completely honest, I sent one of my guys in. I did not go in there to do that.
No.
I used to do that when I was younger. But yeah, it was really a hazmat situation where you.
Well, I'll tell you something. If you're starting to hear anything that sounds like a pigeon, and it sounds kind of close to your, you're up into your attic.
It can be
you better
pigeons.
call.
It can depend where you live. It can be squirrels. It can be any kind of a rodent. I lived in Arcadia area for 30 years, famous for roof rats. I mean, it's one of those things where you just come to learn to live with them, but they don't need to live in your roof.
Well, here's the thing. The main thing is that when you hear these things on this show, it could be you, it could be someone that you know. Get your roofs looked at. Let's talk about you real quickly, because we're going to go to a break. But
Sure.
What we'll do is we'll come back and talk about it. What I want you to do is write this number down. It's 480-569-5753. Let's call now and get your roofs looked at. Why? Because monsoon season's coming up. Why would you want to wait, right? I would think doing it sooner rather than later would be better. Now, first of all, they're licensed, bonded, and insured. They're both residential and commercial. They're statewide. You can check them out on their website. It's WeSaveRoofs.com. Again, that number is 480-569-5753. WeSaveRoofs.com. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. We're still live in the room. But did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's
So a
wonderful.
little bit less, but more
Just
cash.
talking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when something like that happens, obviously that is like starting. You probably have to start practically over when you're something like that. You have to get into the attic. That has to be fixed, right? That has to be cleaned up.
It depends how much damage has been done. So that's one of the things about yearly roof maintenance, right? Preferably twice a year.
Yeah.
Right. But especially if you're a restaurant owner with a commercial building, definitely twice a year, because then you have flat roofs with drainage problems. Right.
How about homes
that's
that have
part
them
also-
too?
Yeah, there's a lot of homes that have them too. So it's We don't, yeah, and I do want to talk a little bit about commercial, but it's basically the same thing when it comes to maintenance. You know, we need to be getting up there, but when you have a flat roof, it has to be twice a year. So if you have a sloped roof, asphalt shingle, tile, once a year will absolutely do. We're happy to come out and do that for you. But if you have a flat roof, which they have a lot, I think, in Sun City and stuff, that should be inspected at least twice a year. If those drains up there, because standing water is number one, and when that sun comes out and it starts to crack and that water starts to penetrate, that's when you're really going to start having problems. If you're not getting your roof inspected and you've got any kind of gaps that are found, and it might not just be in your tiles, you're looking from your driveway. You can't see what your flashing looks like. You can't see what your penetrations look like. You can't see all that good stuff.
You have to go
or
up there.
nasty stuff, right? It's not nasty, but I mean, these are just little things that a trained eye can see. A lot of people try to do it yourself. Unless you know what you're looking for and looking at, I mean, it would blow your mind what actually 30 years in the roofing business.
And you really shouldn't be doing it yourself, number one.
You shouldn't be getting
you
up
don't know
on
what
those
you're
ladders.
doing.
My brother David missed a rung on a ladder coming down. He's now 63, and he was coming down. He missed the third rung, and he broke his ankle because he missed and he slipped.
Did he slip?
Yeah, just from the third rung. I mean, you're only 3 feet off the ground. He broke his ankle.
That's terrible. Yeah, because you don't have to be that far to be able to do that. I wanted to ask you with the commercial, because when you're talking about a restaurant, generally that's one story, right? But there's a lot of people that have more than one story that are never thinking about that roof up there, right?
Absolutely.
I'm sure it happens a lot. That what you see out there must be pretty amazing.
I always just usually, we look at the Grand Canyon as beautiful, but you know how much dirt was washed away out of that thing? I mean, you know what? I mean, it started with a raindrop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it started with a raindrop.
Understand. That's pretty funny.
That's what's happening to your granules. That's what's happening to everything on your roof.
We gotta do an ad like that. That's really funny.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone. We're talking about your roofs, and we're talking about maintaining them right now, and why it's so important to do that. We were talking a little bit about, at the break, about flat roofs, and those have to be maintained how many times a year?
If you have a flat roof, whether it's residential or commercial, twice a year it should be inspected, and that's because flat roofs, even though they should be, if they're built correctly, should all point toward your drains. But if those drains get clogged and you start getting standing water, then you're in a lot of trouble.
Standing water is not good.
Not on
unless
a roof.
It's in your pool.
You're going to get bugs, you're going to get all kinds of stuff. Plus when the heat starts coming out, especially the summer, so we get 120 degrees on our thermostats, you're looking at 160 degrees or higher up on these roofs. So you're getting cracks, and once you start getting the cracks, the water has somewhere to go. And if you think like a raindrop, it's going to take the path of least resistance, and it's going to end up inside your roof. That's when it starts causing mold and mildew. You're going to get that.
I was just going to ask you about mold and mildew. I want to ask you first, though, I want you to get this out. It's really important. Because, obviously when you go up there, you do a beautiful inspection. And I want you to tell them a little bit about yours, because what you do is awesome.
Yeah, sure. So as part of the NRCIA, we're trained to do a 5-zone inspection. So the 5-zone inspection is we actually start on the interior of the home. And so we inspect, with your permission, of course, we inspect every little crevice, whether it be your windowsills, whether it be your closets, your linen closet where you put your blankets, and we look in there with flashlights and we make sure that we don't see any signs in the entire house of any leak damage at all. And that's what we hope for, right? But a lot of times we find it in windowsills, especially if you have a double pane window and you start getting that gray frost in between there. That's usually coming from something from your fascia above or your drip edge, right? So whether that's become either rotted out or somehow water has found its way behind it. And if it does that, then it's going to come into your house. So there's a lot of things we look for there. We also proceed into the attic with your permission. The attic is the number one place where you're going to find old leaks and you're going to find the new leaks. And then from there we come down, and of course then we do an exterior inspection of your home. We look at all your drip edge. We look at all your fascia. We look at everything. So even then we get up on your roof and we look at your flashings, we look at your penetrations, we make sure that they're done right. If they need to be resealed, we actually just don't put new stuff over old. That's a horrible way to do it. We see that all the time. It's called laziness. And that's one thing that we don't abide by at HomeLyfe. I was raised on a farm in Missouri. We do it right the first time. So we make sure that we get rid of all the old stuff before we put the new stuff on, okay? By taking the old stuff off, we can also see if there's any rust around the pipes. We can also see if you're having some more issues there, if it needs a new boot, anything like that. And then of course we're looking for missing tiles, we're looking for broken tiles, missing shingles, which is huge in monsoon season. Because again, people aren't maintaining their roofs, and they're getting older, they're getting brittle, and you get those big monsoon winds. They'll come and they'll easily start taking it off.
Mm-hmm. Look at what we just had the other day, just recently.
Correct.
So they and that is what's the cost on that?
To do what?
To do that, to do the inspection.
No, we do. Well, we have what we call our free 2 zone.
Okay.
So we call it a free 2 zone because we want to get in your attic. That's
Mm-hmm.
really where we want to start the process. And of course, we do get on your roof. But once you're a roofer, you're always a roofer, and so you're pretty much going to get the exterior as well. We're going to inspect your fascia. We're going to inspect every part of that, and so forth and so on. So
Right.
if we see any kind of a leak in your attic, we're going to take that to find out where exactly it's
So
coming
just so that we get it out, because it's great to talk about all of these different things, I do want to talk about the product that you have that can help save the roof.
from. Absolutely. Several years ago, it all came down to necessity for my own roof. I had an older roof, and it was still in great condition. It was just called what I call Captain Crunch. So you get up there, I was inspecting my own roof, and you're walking across and you're hearing the asphalt shingles going crunch, 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 because they're brittle. But they're even though 15 years old, they were still in great condition. They were just dry. So I started looking for a solution, and I'll cut to the chase. I found a company off the East Coast, and the product is called Go Nano, and that stands for Go Nano Technology. They've been testing nanotechnology in the construction world really heavily for the last 5 to 10 years because of what it does on a molecular level, and it binds properties and makes it stronger. It gets to the middle of those and kind of works from the inside out. The gentleman that engineered this product, this formulation, was actually doing it for municipalities and governments for asphalt streets, and then he saw that a house was being re-roofed, and he walked over and he picked up an old shingle and it snapped in his hands, and he said, I think I found a bigger issue that I can fix with this technology. And so we did our due diligence and ended up getting the rights to distribute that product here in Arizona to help people.
So you put that on. If you go up there and you see that maybe they don't really need a new roof, but they can put this product on, and what's it do?
Here's what it does. So, like I said, it works on a molecular level. So we install it. It goes on as a spray. Within 7 days, it stops the aging process immediately, or dramatically slows it down. It stops granule loss. It gives you UV protection. Impact resistance. So people don't think we have hail here in Arizona. We get plenty of it, trust me. And it also gives you wind resistance against now this is all tried, true, and tested through the IBHS, which is the Insurance and Business Institute, and so forth. On top of that, and one of the biggest things it does is it makes all your asphalt shingles 100% hydrophobic. So the water has no chance of absorbing into those asphalt shingles.
That's awesome.
It actually just runs right off into your gutter or right off into your flower bed or off your roof. It doesn't stand on
It makes sense.
Yep.
Nobody else has this.
Nope.
No, and so what the real thing to do is to give them a call and have them talk to you about your roof, do that inspection, the 2-point inspection,
Mm-hmm.
and let them tell you what they can do, because they want to help you save your roof. That's what this is all about. They want you to know that they want to be the most trusted equity maintenance company in the state of Arizona. So you can call them direct. Their phone number is 480-569-5753. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial. We Save Roofs.com, and they're statewide as well. Let's go down to here. I know you mentioned mold and mildew. But when you think about the water and the rain and how it it, builds up, that's when you could have some trouble.
Sure. So again, getting back to just a yearly maintenance program is big, because if you have any kind of gaping holes or anything that you don't see from a street level, right? You go out into your driveway, you get in your car, you look up, oh, my roof looks just fine.
Mm-hmm.
When in fact, even the smallest holes, it's not only can create mold and mildew, right? If that water gets in there, it's happening at a place right now on 24th Street in Camelback. They didn't fix one of their steam rooms over there, and it's all got up into their trusses and everything else, and they're having a massive renovation right now because
I think that same thing happened at Costco the
Yeah,
other day.
it
The air
happens.
conditioning fell right through the roof.
Your home's not the only victim. So
Uh-huh.
Mother Nature doesn't pick and choose who it likes to pick on. But it's just not only mold and mildew, but the structural damage that you have. So, you're foregoing, a very, taking care of your roof down right now, your headaches will go away infinitely if you just maintain your roof today.
It's all it's all about.
It's really all it is. Increased energy bills, right? The air's got to go somewhere. Think about when you're looking, if you're sitting in your living room and you're looking across your front door, and you say, oh, my seal on my front door is bad. You can see that sunlight out there. Where do you think the air is escaping to? Your energy bills are going off the roof.
I want to ask you, when you talk about energy, real quickly, we only have a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Solar, let's say somebody does have solar on their roofs.
Yes. Well, if you already have solar on your roofs, we can still protect the roof.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt about it.
Okay.
Most of the time, though, if you're considering solar, I will tell you right now that if somebody comes to you with, say, it's a $30,000 solar package, one of the boxes they have to check in order for the financing to go through on that solar roof has to be that the roof is in good condition. If it's too dry and brittle, that $30,000 will turn into a $50,000 finance project, because they'll come down and say, hey, guess what? You have to get a new roof. We can get you approved, but we have to do the new roof first, but we'll put all that into your finance package. With our product Go Nano, we can actually add an additional 10 to 15 years to that roof. You can actually do solar. It's all about how they put the penetrations into the roof, and they can't do it on a brittle asphalt shingle, but they can definitely do it on one that's been treated with Go Nano.
That phone number to call, it's 480-569-5753. What are your final words today?
Just give us a call. Hey, we're here to help. We're just your neighborly, equity maintenance company, and we're here to take care of you. We're here to take care of your roof, and we'd love to meet you.
You know what? It is all about the maintenance, and what it also is about is having people that you can trust. They want to be the most trusted equity maintenance company in the state of Arizona. Call them direct at 480-569-5753. They're statewide, licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial. WeSaveRoofs.com.